What's up, guys? We're doing another pedal board build today. This one is for a band I've been working on a while. It's called The Inner Urge, and we're touring in support of an album we just released. The tour is starting at the end of this week, so I'm going to get to it and build this pedal board for you. First things first, let's talk about the pedal board. This is a custom-built board. My dad put it together, and I have designed the top of it to fit with all the pedals I'm going to be using. In the back, we've got the place for the power supply here. You'll see Velcro. And the reason I use Velcro is so I can attach different power supplies if I need them. The power supply I'm using is the Voodoo Labs Pedal Power 4x4, which has a ton of different outputs. On it, we've got 2 input jacks on each side, locking. This is in case I ever use 2 different instruments with it, or if I want to play stereo. And then also, the great thing is the power that's routed right into the side with an on-off switch. This is routed into an IEC cable, a right angle, that'll go right into the power supply. And if you're looking here at where the power is going to go, you can see there's discoloration in the wood, and that's because this is actually recessed, so that we can get the inside of the board a little bit smaller, and so that it can fit inside this mono case, which is just big enough to fit underneath an airplane seat, if I need to fly with it. So this is getting attached underneath here. Insert the IEC cable with the Velcro, and it's not coming off. Alright, next we're going to talk about the pedals. So the Inner Urge is an ambient funk, kind of jazz-rooted group. We've got guitar, that'll be myself. Sometimes I play violin with them. The other main instrument we have is vibraphone, and sometimes he'll jump on other percussion instruments. We've got a drum set, and then the 4th member plays bass half the time and synthesizer the other half the time. So, with the pedals, starting out in the first part of the chain, we've got the Electro Harmonix POG. That's an octave pedal. You can control the dry signal, the octave up, and also the sub-octave. Then into the drive section, next up we have the JHS Double Barrel, which is the Morning Glory on your left side of it, and a Tube Screamer copy on the right side of it. Next in the drive section is Rockett The Dude, which is a medium to high gain drive. Then next we've got this volume pedal, which is one of the biggest parts of my rig. So I spent some money recently and upgraded to a Tapestry Audio Bloomery. This is the active version. So it's got in and out on the top, and if you'll notice, this is pretty compact. It's also got a tuner out on the side, and then on the other side a spot for the DC out. The great thing about this is the range you can get out of it, which is about twice the range of any other volume pedals out there. The other thing is it also does not use a string like some other companies do, so it's not prone to breaking. It's using a slider mechanism. I'm really excited to start using this. Next up is the Electro Harmonix Freeze. Basically you hold it and it holds whatever note, whatever chord. And I have this one modded with a silence switch, so you're not hearing a super loud click in the quiet sections. Versus. So this brings me to the next part. This is the MXR Phase 95. It's a new pedal by them, and it's basically the Phase 90 and the Phase 45 pedals put together in one in a small encasing, so you got a lot of options here. Next up is the Strymon Blue Sky. This is my reverb pedal, and it's got one setting that you can store in the favorites, and then you can also trigger a different setting just by the normal bypass switch. Finally, last part of the signal chain is this Strymon DIG. This is a digital voice delay, which also has a programmable favorite switch. So I'm running this on it. And even though this is not actually in the chain, this will be on the board since it's coming out of the tuner output on the volume pedal. This is the TC Electronic Polytune 2 Mini. And I have everything outfitted with Velcro, so it's all sticking to the top of the board. Alright, let's get wiring. Alright, so before we get started here with the actual pedal board, I want to talk about the cables that I'm using. Last cruise contract, I had a few problems with cables inside the pedal board shorting out. So when I got home, I took it upon myself. I got on sweetwater.com and I found this different brand called EBS. And they're making some really high quality stuff. This is about as low profile as I've ever seen. And the cable is flat too, so it's super easy to work around in different angles. And from the reviews online and looking on a few forums, they seem really reliable. Just as comparison, I had been using lava cables before, which are advertised as having the lowest profile, but the awful thing about it is they're solderless, and you will never see a professional using solderless cables. So I would steer clear of those as much as possible. The thing is, with solderless connections, you're going to get humidity in there, you can get some dust, and even when I was using them and I could have them working perfectly, you know, a few days into the last tour I was doing with this group, they were shorting out and I had to buy some extra cables on the road to replace it. Great thing about this is it's equally just as small and you're not going to run into problems like that. So I've got 3 different lengths here. I've got 5 inches, about 8 inches long, and then 16 inches, and this will let me work around anything I need to on the board. So it lets me put my pedals in any configuration on the board I want, and then from there I'll work around the order that the signal chain is actually going in. few things you might be asking is, first of all, yes, I totally forgot about this pedal until the end. These Altoids are not Altoids, it's a case to hold my guitar picks. This is an electronic bow that will be velcroed on right there in case I need it real quick. And this little wire will attach to a wah pedal should I need it. Usually I never put wah pedals on my board, even if I do have room, because if they're too close to the power supply, they end up buzzing like crazy. So I usually just keep this tucked in here until I need it. So throw that in there. And then the last thing to do here is tidy up all these wires underneath. So I've got some zip ties, and I'm going to get to work here. So there's the finished product. I'm going to post some links down in the description. The first one's going to be from the band that I'll be playing with that you've been listening to while I fast forward through all this. You'll be able to see the tour dates and all of our other CD release information there. I'm going to be posting a link to Creation Music Supply. On their site you'll be able to find feet like this that I used. You'll be able to find all the electronics, the input jacks here, as well as the Velcro that's here on top of the board. As far as the outside of it, I'd originally bought a nice piece of white Tolex to cover the outside with, but we ended up using this beautiful walnut, so we just stained it and we kept it natural. If this video has helped you at all, if you've enjoyed it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, maybe the like as well. I'm doing a ton of videos like these. I'm talking about my gear all the time, and I'll be doing another video shortly about which settings I'm going to and how I'm going to make sure that the knobs stay at that so I don't have to readjust them every single show. Alright, thanks for watching guys, and peace out.